The housing market is in flux right now, right? With interest rates rising. And a longtime issue has been having way more buyers than sellers here in Western New York. Well, reduced new home construction related to the pandemic only made that problem worse. And it turns out Buffalo has been a lot worse than we realized, at least according to a new report. The Inspection Support Network just found that the Buffalo-Cheektowaga area is the second slowest in the country right now for new builds. Last year, for every 1,000 existing homes, our area had less than 3 new ones built. That's less than a quarter of the national average. And joining us live right now to discuss is Michael Stromberg, lead data analyst with the Inspection Support Network. We appreciate you taking some time to help us better understand this. Those numbers sound pretty drastic. What do you believe are some of the reasons that Buffalo is lagging so far behind the national average in building these new houses?
Yeah, thanks for having me. I think if we look at the macroeconomic trend first, New York State as a whole ranked 45th out of all 50 states for new residential housing units permitted per 1,000 existing units. So there could be some things happening at the state level, statewide economic activity, previous actions taken by the state legislature. So this low statewide ranking really lowers the bar for the metropolitan areas in New York State as a whole. But if we zoom into Buffalo, the Buffalo metropolitan area specifically, it's been going through a multi-decade transition from primarily a manufacturing-based economy to more of a services-based economy. So like education, healthcare, things like that. So if you couple that with the years of stagnating population growth that we've seen, I think that really explains the low numbers here.
What then is the impact if you have not enough new homes being built, or maybe just, not on the same level as we're seeing throughout most of the country?
Yeah, anytime you have prolonged periods of insufficient housing supply, that's typically going to put some upward pressure on home prices and rental prices. It could also disincentivize people from moving to Buffalo and patronizing local businesses. Additionally, it could decelerate local tax-based growth. That means less funding for local initiatives, projects, services, things like that.
Yeah, I mean, if you can't find a place to live, you can't move somewhere, right? So you hope that that's not the case. We wonder, though, because Buffalo, used to have a population a lot higher than it is now, if we've just got enough of the existing houses. But that clearly, we know based on the numbers that there are a lot more people looking to buy homes than there are homes available. So there's something to that. I want to end, though, kind of looking forward. Buffalo doesn't like being worst or close to worst in anything. So you want to improve on this. What do you think needs to change in terms of getting better on this metric?
Yeah, well, first you want to make it more attractive for developers to invest in Buffalo. So that includes reducing regulatory barriers at the state level and local levels. You could do things like allow for higher density zoning construction or make it easier for building ADUs. You could streamline permitting processes and reduce bureaucracy. You could also ease restrictions on converting commercial spaces into residential spaces. But the big one is tax abatements. Tax abatements can make it more financially attractive for developers to build in Buffalo. Additionally, you want to make it attractive for new residents to move to Buffalo by investing in schools, transportation, local amenities, things like parks. But generally speaking, you want to take actions that say, come live in Buffalo and come build here in Buffalo as well.
One of the things that we talked about a lot during the pandemic were all of the shortages of things and then the increased prices. And, lumber was a big one. I wondered if that slowed some people in terms of building new houses versus buying from the existing stock. And if that is easing at all, even just kind of nationally, are you seeing that change?
Yeah, it is a little bit. And yeah, the COVID-19 pandemic was very disruptive. It, halted economies, it disrupted supply chains, and pretty much everything that happened in between now and then contributed to inflation. So the national trend, whenever you have a national macroeconomic force like that, there's going to be a lot of turbulence. But yeah, things are starting to uptick.
Michael Stromberg is lead data analyst with the Inspection Support Network, which did this study finding that Buffalo ranks second lowest in the country in terms of new housing on a per capita kind of basis here. Appreciate you coming on and helping us better understand this, sir. Thank you.
You're welcome.